Obviously, I knew that the car worked and was great, so hopefully they just believed that. I interrupt your regularly scheduled I interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this important announcement. Carvana is literally taking over the world. Well, car world. I actually recently sold my car in Carvana, so I'm going to break down the positives, the negatives of the experience, the process, all that fun stuff, and then at the end give my overall rating. At first, I was a little bit skeptical of Carvana. I actually had my dad mention the idea before I even thought of it. Even though I see their billboards everywhere, I even see their, parking garages, and I just didn't think of it because the process typically in our way of going about, especially here in the Motor City or around the Motor City, is to go to the dealership because those are connected to the car brands and, so on and so forth. So Carvana is kind of this newcomer that is all digital for the most part, and they ship your cars to you. There's a lot of interesting aspects to it, and I think they are trying to, of course, take away business from the dealerships. So I thought it would be great to just reach out to them and see what they would offer me for my car. I also reached out to local dealerships and asked them what they would offer me for my car. And I kid you not, Carvana offered me $3,000 or $4,000 more than the dealership. I was baffled. I did not think it was real. I was like, oh, this is fake. It's some kind of scam. But you'll find out later, it is not. So I go through this process with the dealership and Carvana. Carvana offers me so much more for my car. So obviously out the gate, a big positive for them is that they're offering way more for cars than the dealerships. I called a couple of dealerships and they were not in the range that Carvana was. I think Carvana knows this and they are trying to take those cars that the dealerships typically take in themselves and maybe losing a little bit of profit now, but hoping to get rid of the competition later. And that's just me, being a business skeptics kind of person.
Protect your family. Wear aluminum.
But I don't have actual news of that. So for the price, I actually made money on my car through Carvana, which is kind of crazy. And so another positive that comes down the line is the ease of getting the offer. It was really easy to fill out my information. You just have to send them some documents and then they give you a full-fledged offer from it. Following that came a negative. Carvana said that they would get back to me in a week and that's how long the offer lasts, and they did not. I assume it's because they are, an early operation and they maybe don't have the customer service people in line to match those requests, but then they should be fixing their timelines. Carvana. Get your shit together! Carvana. So the negative was that they said they would get back to me in a week. They did not. The offer went away and I had to, message customer service and just say,
hey, I had this offer and it, expired, but they didn't reach out to me.
But they were actually really good. So back to the positive of it, in that they actually right away put my offer that I had back in, and they pretty much gave me a designated rep to fill out my info and finalize the process of it all. And again, going through this whole process, I'm like, Carvana is actually not a real person. You're just talking to these bots and these people via, chat. And so the whole process doesn't seem real yet. I really didn't believe I was going to be getting a profit off my car until I had the check in hand. So I read up on the process, and a lot of other people said that the Carvana experience was really good for them in the way that they pick up the car. You just schedule yourself in and they have someone come out to your living area, to your house, and they will pretty much just assess it right there, make sure everything that you said about it was true, and then they assign it for towing. So they have someone later come and tow it, which is how I think they keep their process, rolling and going pretty fast. So I would say the positive was the person came, they were great, they were super nice, they assessed everything. They actually didn't test drive my car, which I thought was interesting, but maybe they just have a certain algorithm that says, most people are telling the truth about their car when it comes to the info they give us. Obviously, I knew that the car worked and was great, so hopefully they just believed that. So a big positive of it was the process. It was so straightforward, so easy, the people were nice, and for the towing, I didn't even have to go out there. I could just go back to my apartment and wait for it to be gone. Now granted, I looked back and it was already gone. Like, they had it so fast that I was a little bit shook. But overall, I thought the process was super smooth. Now, Carvana does not offer leases yet, and I was looking to get a lease after buying a car for my entire span of having a car. So that was one setback, I guess, is that, and I'm sure they'll branch out into it, but you can only buy or sell cars through Carvana. So with that, I still ended up going to the dealership and supporting the dealership, supporting Carvana in a way. So I felt good because I got to support two businesses out of it. But I would say that if you're looking to like lease a car, you still have to go to a dealership. You still got to go through the process of filling everything out, hearing the sales pitch, doing the insurance. It's so much. But I overall had such a good experience with Carvana. Now, if I were to buy a car outright, I don't know if I'd go through Carvana. I feel like having those dealership relationships works well because if you need the car fixed, you might get a free oil change out of it or a free tire rotation, and you might get a discount on the fixing. Whereas with Carvana, they're not really tied to any kind of garage dealership that would fix your car. So I think there's a benefit to going to a dealership for that kind of stuff. But do I think that Carvana offers a great system for just the new world we live in that is more digital? Absolutely. It's crazy how good their process is for something as big as car buying. I mean, granted, most cars are just tied to a title, but I feel like growing up, there was just so much to it that I sat in and watched my parents go through when they bought a car or myself, and it's crazy that they were able to make the process so easy for me to sell my car. And on top of that, give me so much more money than the dealerships. Honestly, $3,000 to $4,000 difference. It sounds like a scam, but obviously I know that the dealerships are trying to make more profit on it. Carvana must not. Overall, I give Carvana probably an 7 or 8 out of 10 just because I did have to push the process forward myself to get what I wanted, and they were not reaching out to me, so who knows how long it would have taken if I didn't reach out. I would also say that's a great tip for anyone going through the Carvana process. If you're finding that they're not reaching out to you, just reach out to them because they will have someone contact you. At least they did for me. I hope that this review helped you decide, whether or not to give Carvana a chance. I think you should if you're trying to sell a car and even buy a car. Honestly, with these kinds of situations, you can really do a lot of research and hear everyone out before you even have to make a decision, which is something I highly recommend doing. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and be sure to check out some other videos of mine if you have an interest in Michigan related content, other reviews of things, some Netflix reviews of some new shows that have been coming out, and all around content that I love to share. Have a absolutely amazing, wonderful day.